Hey, Nate again here with Big Little Gardens. We just made a cool video about my Mangave collection, and we thought it'd be great to go a little more into depth into the experience that I've had growing these. You know, if you go to your local garden center, you may find what was once a beautiful Mangave, and it's grown in peat moss. And the growers, you know, they love peat moss because it grows really fast. But what do they have? They have a controlled environment. They're pumping the soil full of chemicals and biological things to prevent root rot. You take it out of that controlled environment, and then bam, a month later it's dead. You could find that same issue with Mediterranean plants. You buy a little 4-inch pot, you go stick it in your wonderful soil that's very well draining, the perfect environment for Mediterranean plants. But that little 4-inch pocket of peat moss, you know, too much water, that plant's going to die. So you can have that same issue with containerized plants. So I bought this in the early spring, and it was, like I said, it was beautiful, and now it's pretty much dead. So that plant got watered probably every 2 to 3 days sometimes a little bit longer. This plant got watered every day. So it just goes to show soil matters, containers matter. This was grown in a fairly dense bark mix, but it was grown in a terracotta pot. So that terracotta pot allows extra oxygen and wicks away the water. And this is a beautiful specimen from Plant Delights that they water every day in the summer. So you see the difference that the soil and the containers make. Now, I don't buy a lot of terracotta pots because they're fairly expensive, and I have a lot of plants. So I have to do something different, and what I do is invest in my soil. You know, if you've got terracotta, you could probably buy any off-the-shelf, really sort of bark-based mix. But me, what I do this year, and this is based on a soil that I got from a guy named Gerhardt. He runs a website, Succulents and More, I believe. And you can see there's leca in here, expanded clay. There's pumice in here. Permatil is a local product. It's fairly cheap, and that's what they use in the agave beds at Plant Delight. But you've got this really porous mix, and there's some compost in there, there's a little bit of bark, there's a little bit of maybe some coconut core as well. No peat moss. But this plant looks a lot better than it did last year. Last year I went way extreme, and I planted in almost like 75% permatil. Permatil's got a lot of drainage benefits, but it doesn't hold water like pumice. So it's not really one-to-one change it out. But if you can't find pumice, or you don't want to spend money on pumice, permatil can be a solution if you sort of add those water holding elements as well. But this, you know, it's just one way. If you're going to grow them in containers and you're going to give them a lot of water, this is a good soil mix. Bree, the plant lady, who's local to us as well, she sticks hers, I think, in 100% compost. Now they're in bigger containers, so they're drying out a little bit quicker, but she's got beautiful plants in compost. So it really just comes down to how you grow and your watering schedule and, you know, your environment. But a couple of ways to do it.